Tonight, imagine that your life unfolds softly, like silk laid carefully across a tatami floor. You are living in an old wooden house in Kyoto, where the walls breathe with age and the paper screens glow faintly with lantern light. The world beyond the shutters is hushed, as if even time itself has learned to walk quietly here. Your day begins before the sun fully rises, not because of urgency, but because tradition moves gently ahead of daylight. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of cedar and distant incense from a temple bell that has already marked the hour. You wake slowly, first listening to the soft rustle of fabric in neighboring rooms, to the distant footstep of someone sweeping the stone path outside, to the birds that never hurry. You sit up, folding your blanket with deliberate care. Nothing in your life is rushed. Each movement has been practiced until it becomes calming rather than demanding. You wash your face with cool water drawn from a ceramic basin, watching small ripples form and disappear. Even the water seems untroubled. Your reflection in the mirror is quiet and composed, not dramatic, not performative, simply present. Becoming a geisha was never about spectacle. It was about learning to exist gracefully within the smallest moments. You smooth your hair slowly, knowing there is no audience yet and perhaps never truly one. What matters is the ritual itself. Breakfast is light and warm. Steamed rice, a simple soup, pickled vegetables arranged neatly on a tray. You eat slowly, aware of texture and temperature. The act of eating is another form of meditation. Outside, the street is beginning to wake, but its sounds are softened by distance and habit. Later, you practice music in a room where the floor has been polished by decades of careful steps. You sit with your instrument resting lightly against you, fingers moving not to impress but to remember. Each note is like a breath arriving, lingering, leaving. The melody drifts through the wooden beams and out into the narrow alley where it mixes with the quiet life of the city. There is no applause. There never needs to be. As the day moves forward, you attend lessons, not because you lack skill, but because learning never ends here. You rehearse familiar dances, each gesture restrained and precise. A turn of the wrist, a tilt of the head, a step measured in half seconds rather than strides. The movements are old, passed down through memory rather than instruction. Time slows in this room. Outside, seasons change, governments rise and fall, inventions arrive and disappear. Inside, the rhythm remains constant. You are part of something that does not rush toward the future, but flows alongside it. In the afternoon, light filters through the paper screens, turning the room amber. You help prepare tea, rinsing cups, warming them, arranging them with care. The tea ceremony is never casual. Even when practiced alone, it demands attention. You bow slightly to an empty space, honoring the tradition itself. When guests arrive in the evening, they come quietly, removing their shoes, speaking in softened voices. You greet them not as a performer, but as a presence. Conversation unfolds gently, stories about weather, poetry, travel, memory. You listen more than you speak. Listening, you have learned, is one of the highest arts. Lanterns glow softly as night deepens. Shadows move across walls like slow thoughts. You pour sake with steady hands, refilling cups before they are empty, always aware of others before yourself. Laughter arises now and then, never loud, always warm. Between moments, you notice small things. The faint crackle of a candle wick, the way silk sounds when someone shifts, the creak of old wood responding to weight. These details anchor you. They remind you that life is happening here, now, quietly. Later, when the gathering ends, the house returns to stillness. You clean carefully, folding cloths, extinguishing lanterns one by one. The night air enters through an open window, cool and clean, carrying the scent of rain or distant blossoms depending on the season. You remove your makeup slowly, layer by layer, returning your face to yourself. The mirror shows not transformation, but continuity. You are the same person you were this morning, shaped slightly by the hours in between. Before sleep, you sit for a moment in silence. This pause is important. It is where the day settles. You think of nothing in particular. Thoughts drift in and out like clouds that know they are not required to stay. When you lie down, the world feels balanced. You are tired, but not exhausted. Fulfilled, but not overwhelmed. The house creaks softly, as if breathing with you. Somewhere far away, a bell rings once, then fades. Your life as a geisha is not a story of drama or excess. It is a life of attention, of restraint, of beauty found in repetition and care. It is a life where nothing shouts and everything matters just enough. As sleep arrives, it does so gently, like a curtain being drawn, not to end the scene but to rest it until morning. And in that calm darkness, surrounded by quiet tradition and steady rhythm, you drift deeply, peacefully into sleep. Settle yourself comfortably now, letting your body grow heavy and still, as if the day has already loosened its hold on you. Allow your breathing to slow, deep and unhurried, because this is a story meant to move gently, like a lantern swaying in a quiet street at night. Your life unfolds in an old district where narrow stone paths curve softly between wooden houses. You have walked these paths so many times that your feet know them better than thought does. In the early evening, when the sky begins to dim into shades of blue and silver, you slide the wooden door closed behind you, listening to the familiar sound as it settles into place. The outside world fades slightly, as though wrapped in cotton. Inside, the house is calm and orderly. Tatami mats stretch across the floor, clean and smooth beneath your feet. You kneel and sit with ease, your body accustomed to this posture, finding comfort in its familiarity. A kettle warms quietly nearby, the faint sound of water heating becoming a gentle rhythm that matches your breath. Your days follow patterns shaped long before you were born. These patterns do not trap you. Instead, they hold you, the way riverbanks guide water without forcing it. You remember when learning these customs felt difficult, when every movement required concentration. Now they flow naturally, like muscle memory woven into your bones. As a geisha, your life is built from small, careful moments. You choose your kimono not to stand out, but to harmonize with the season. The fabric slides over your hands, cool and smooth, its colors soft and deliberate. You dress slowly, allowing each layer to rest perfectly where it belongs. The act itself is calming, a ritual that signals to your mind that all is well. When you step outside later, lanterns line the street, glowing like low stars. Their light reflects faintly on the stones beneath your feet. You walk with short, steady steps, your pace unhurried. The sound of your sandals is gentle, never sharp, as if even noise knows to behave here. Inside the tea house, the atmosphere is warm and hushed. Voices are low, conversations flowing easily without urgency. You greet guests with a bow that feels less like formality and more like acknowledgement. Each person carries their own tired thoughts from the day, and your presence invites them to set those thoughts down for a while. You pour tea, the steam rising softly, carrying a faint earthy scent. The cup is warm in your hands. You pass it carefully, noticing the way fingers curl around porcelain, how shoulders relax as the first sip is taken. These are small victories, invisible yet meaningful. Music comes later. You sit gracefully, lifting your instrument as if greeting an old friend. The strings vibrate under your touch, sending sound into the room slow, measured notes that do not demand attention but gently hold it. The melody is familiar, comforting, like a lullaby remembered from childhood. As you play, you do not think of perfection, you think of flow, of allowing sound to appear and fade without clinging to it. The music fills the spaces between breaths, between thoughts. Faces soften, time stretches, then loosens. When the evening draws to a close, you help restore the quiet. Cups are cleared, cushions straightened. Guests depart with soft farewells, stepping back into the night calmer than when they arrived. You watch the door close, feeling a peaceful emptiness settle into the room. Later, alone again, you remove the layers of your kimono carefully, folding each piece with respect. The house seems to sigh as lanterns are extinguished one by one. Moonlight slips through the paper screens, painting pale shapes on the floor. You sit for a moment before sleep, listening. The distant sound of water, the occasional creak of wood cooling in the night air, the faint call of an owl far away. These sounds are not interruptions, they are companions. Your life as a geisha has taught you that beauty is not something to chase. It is something you notice. It exists in repetition, in patience, in the way hands move slowly and minds learn to be still. As you lie down, your body remembers the day and then releases it. Muscles soften. Thoughts drift apart, losing their urgency. The steady rhythm of your breath becomes the only thing that matters now. The world continues quietly beyond the walls, but here, in this moment, everything is settled. Wrapped in calm tradition and gentle routine, you allow sleep to arrive naturally, like a trusted guest who needs no invitation. And with that sense of peace, you drift deeper and deeper into rest, carried by stillness, warmth, and the soft silence of the night. The night deepens without announcement, as if it knows better than to interrupt. Darkness settles into the corners of the room, soft and familiar, and you rest within it easily. Sleep does not come all at once. Instead, it approaches gradually, like footsteps heard at a distance, unhurried and kind. Your breathing slows, each inhale cool and steady, each exhale warm and releasing. Thoughts begin to loosen their grip, becoming less like words and more like drifting impressions. In this half-awake state, memories from your life rise gently, not demanding attention, only passing through like quiet visitors. You remember mornings from long ago, when you were still learning. The house was larger then, or perhaps you were simply smaller. The corridors seemed endless, the rules endless too, yet there was comfort in being guided. Senior women moved through the rooms with calm authority, their presence reassuring. They corrected your posture with a light touch, your timing with a glance, never harsh, always precise. Even discipline felt gentle here. In those days, your hands sometimes trembled when holding a teacup, not from fear, but from effort. Every movement mattered, and you wanted to honor that. Over time, the trembling faded, replaced by steadiness. Now your hands are calm, resting easily, knowing exactly what to do even in stillness. The memory dissolves, and another takes its place. An early spring evening, cherry blossoms falling silently outside the tea house. Petals drifted through the air like pale snow, landing on roofs, on lantern tops, on the shoulders of passers-by. You remember pausing for a moment before entering, watching the petals fall, feeling as though the world itself was slowing down just for you. Inside, guests spoke softly about ordinary things, weather, travel, a poem remembered imperfectly. Yet everything felt meaningful, not because it was important, but because it was shared. You had poured tea that night with special care, noticing how the steam rose and vanished, how warmth passed from cup to hand. These small exchanges, you learned, were where life truly lived. Back in the present, your body shifts slightly beneath the blanket. The fabric moves with a quiet whisper, then settles. The room remains still. Somewhere beyond the walls, a night breeze brushes against the wooden exterior, producing a low, soothing sound. The house responds with a gentle creak, like an old friend adjusting in sleep. You think, briefly, about the word more, the quiet promise within it. Your life as a geisha has always been described by others as something singular, something rare. Yet to you, it has always been made of many small lives layered together. Musician, listener, student, host, caretaker of atmosphere. Each role flowing into the next without sharp boundaries. There was never a single moment when you became who you are. It happened gradually, like dusk turning into night. One lesson leading to another, one season folding into the next. You did not rush to arrive, you simply continued. Your awareness drifts again, this time toward sound. In your memory, you hear the low notes of your instrument, slow and deliberate. Each note seems to hang in the air before fading, leaving space behind it. Silence here is not empty. It is full, rich, supportive. It allows sound to exist without competition. That same silence now surrounds you as you rest. It presses gently like a cushion around your thoughts. Even worries that sometimes follow you into the night seem to lose their shape here. They soften, then dissolve, finding no edges to cling to. You feel the steady rhythm of your heart, calm and unremarkable, doing its work without asking for attention. This rhythm has accompanied every performance, every bow, every quiet walk through lantern-lit streets. It continues now, dependable and even. In another remembered evening, rain fell softly as you walked home. The stones were dark and reflective, lantern light stretching across them in long, wavering lines. You walked carefully, but not tensely. Rain was not an obstacle. It was part of the scene. Your sleeves grew slightly damp, the coolness seeping through fabric, grounding you firmly in the moment. That night, the tea house smelled faintly of wet wood and warm tea. Guests lingered a little longer than usual, voices even softer, as if rain had taught everyone to speak gently. You had felt a deep sense of belonging then, not to a place, but to the flow of things as they are. Now, wrapped in rest, that same feeling returns. Belonging without effort. Presence without performance. Your thoughts slow further, becoming less connected. Images blur at the edges, blending into one another. The distinction between memory and imagination fades. You are both here and drifting, supported by the calm structure of your life and the quiet freedom of sleep. You sense the passing of time only by the deepening of comfort. Muscles relax more fully, releasing the last traces of the day. Your jaw softens. Your shoulders sink. Even your hands, resting loosely, seem to exhale. If someone were to watch you now, they would see only stillness. But within that stillness is movement of another kind, a gentle turning inward, a settling into yourself. The same care you bring to every ritual, every gesture, now turns toward rest. Your life continues even as you sleep. Lanterns will be lit again tomorrow. Tea will warm. Music will find its way into the air. Seasons will continue their slow conversation with the streets and rooftops. There is no need to plan or prepare for any of it right now. For this moment, it is enough to rest. Breath by breath, thought by thought, you drift deeper. The world grows quieter, softer, simpler. And held within that simplicity, you move gently, effortlessly, into a peaceful, untroubled sleep. The quiet does not end, it widens. It becomes a soft field you drift across without effort. Your mind, no longer busy arranging thoughts, begins to move in slower patterns, like clouds gliding across a night sky that does not need watching. Everything feels supported, as though the world itself has decided to carry you for a while. Somewhere between waking and dreaming, you sense the familiar shape of morning that will come later, but it has no urgency. Dawn is patient here. It understands that rest is part of the rhythm, not an interruption to it. For now, night remains, deep and generous. You drift into a dream that feels less like a story and more like a place you already know. You are walking again through the narrow streets, but there is no destination. Lanterns glow steadily, never flickering. The air is cool and clean, and each step feels perfectly measured, as if the ground itself meets your feet halfway. In this dream, the houses seem to breathe. Wooden beams stretch and relax with quiet sounds, and paper screens glow faintly from within, even when no one is awake. You pass by familiar doorways, sensing the lives inside them, other women resting, other stories paused until morning. There is comfort in knowing you are not alone, even in silence. You pause near a small bridge that crosses a narrow stream. Water moves beneath it slowly, reflecting points of light like scattered stars. You lean slightly over the railing, not to look closely, but simply to be near the sound. The stream does not hurry. It never has. It has learned the art of arriving eventually. This reminds you of your own life, of how nothing truly important ever rushed you. Skill came with repetition. Confidence arrived quietly. Belonging grew without announcement. You were never pushed forward. You were invited again and again to stay present. The dream shifts gently, like a lantern turning in a breeze. Now you are inside a familiar room, larger than it appears in waking life. Tatami mats stretch endlessly, smooth and warm beneath your feet. At the center of the room sits a single teacup. Steam rises from it in slow, graceful curves. You kneel and lift the cup. It is warm, comforting, exactly the right temperature. You do not drink it right away. Instead, you feel its weight. Notice the subtle texture of the ceramic, the way warmth travels into your palms. This moment does not ask anything of you. It exists simply to be experienced. When you finally sip the tea, the taste is gentle, grounding. It fills you with a quiet sense of completeness, as though nothing is missing and nothing needs to be added. You exhale, and the room seems to exhale with you. Back in your sleeping body, that same calm spreads. Your breath remains slow and steady. Each inhale brings in ease. Each exhale releases whatever remains of effort. You feel safely anchored, supported by mattress and blanket, by memory and routine, by a life shaped carefully and lived attentively. Another dream arrives without edges. You are practicing music again, but this time there is no instrument in your hands. The sound simply appears, as if carried on air. Notes rise and fall around you, not coming from you, not leaving you either. They surround you, then drift away. You realize you no longer need to guide them. They know where to go. This understanding settles deeply, easing something you did not know you were holding. Control loosens. Trust takes its place. In the quiet of the night, even time seems to rest. Minutes stretch, then dissolve. There is only this gentle state of being where nothing pulls and nothing pushes. Your thoughts, now rare and faint, feel like distant ripples rather than waves. You sense the house again, solid and reassuring. Wooden floors hold warmth from the day. Walls stand steady, having weathered many seasons. This house has seen countless nights like this one, Countless women resting after long, careful days. It remembers how to be still, and it shares that memory with you. Outside, the sky slowly shifts, though you do not notice it. Stars move imperceptibly. The moon changes its angle. These things happen without effort, just as your rest continues without instruction. Your body settles even more deeply. Any remaining tension dissolves into the surface beneath you. Your face is soft, your brows smooth. There is nothing you need to listen for, nothing you need to anticipate. Sleep holds you securely now. In this state, your life as a geisha feels expansive, rather than defined. It is not a role you step into and out of. It is a way of moving through the world with awareness, with respect, with gentleness. Even now, asleep, you carry that same quality into rest. Dreams become lighter, more abstract. Colors blend softly. Sounds fade into sensation. You float through impressions of silk moving, of tea steaming, of lantern light reflected on stone. None of it forms a story, and none of it needs to. You are resting exactly as you should. And as the night continues its quiet watch, you remain wrapped in calm, drifting deeper into peaceful, restorative sleep supported by tradition, softened by stillness, and carried effortlessly toward morning. Whenever it chooses to arrive, the night holds steady as if it has all the time it needs. Nothing changes suddenly. Everything shifts by degrees so small they feel almost imaginary. You remain deeply at rest, drifting in a space where sleep is not a single moment but a wide, calm river carrying you onward. Your dreams grow quieter now, less shaped by images and more by feeling. There is a sense of warmth, of being enclosed and protected. It is the same feeling you know from kneeling in a familiar room, from sitting with your back straight and your hands folded neatly, aware of yourself without needing to think about yourself. Somewhere in this gentle state, you become aware of morning not as light, but as possibility. It is far away, still forming. Dawn has not yet touched the edges of the sky, but it exists, patiently waiting. There is no need to move toward it. It will come on its own. You dream of preparation, but without effort. In this dream, your hands move slowly through familiar motions, smoothing fabric, aligning folds, tying cords with practiced ease. Each movement is precise, yet entirely relaxed. There is no mistake to fear, no correction required. Everything settles into place naturally. The room around you feels spacious and quiet. Air moves gently, barely noticeable. You hear the faintest sound of water, perhaps from a basin nearby, or perhaps only remembered. The sound blends with your breathing until the two are indistinguishable. This reminds you, even in sleep, of what your life has taught you, that attention is a form of care. When you attend to something fully, without rushing, it responds by becoming calmer. You have seen this in guests whose shoulders lowered after a cup of tea, in rooms that seemed to soften once lanterns were lit, in yourself when you finally learned to slow your steps. Your dream shifts again, softly, like silk sliding across silk. Now you are walking through a garden just before sunrise. The stones beneath your feet are cool. Leaves hold drops of dew that catch faint light. Nothing moves quickly. Even insects pause, as if listening. You stop near a small tree, its branches thin and delicate. You do not touch it. You simply stand nearby, breathing, sharing the quiet. This moment has no purpose beyond itself. And because of that, it feels complete. Back in your sleeping body, that same sense of completeness settles deeper. There is nothing left undone for this night. Muscles that once carried you through hours of careful posture and controlled movement now rest fully, heavy and relaxed. Your spine lies supported, your hands open and loose. The world outside continues, but it does not intrude. Sounds are distant and softened, as though wrapped in cloth. Even time seems padded, unable to press sharply against you. You float within the softness, safe and unobserved. You dream again of music, but this time it is not something you play or hear clearly. It is more like a vibration, a hum beneath everything. A steady presence that does not rise or fall dramatically. It simply exists, reassuring and calm. You recognize it as the rhythm of continuity, the sense that life carries on smoothly, one moment following another without strain. This rhythm has guided your days for years. It wakes you gently. It leads you through practice and performance. It escorts you home through lantern-lit streets. And now it carries you through sleep. In the dream, you sit with others, but no one speaks. There is no need. You share tea without pouring it, warmth without cups. The feeling of togetherness is quiet and undemanding. You are aware of others without needing to respond to them. This mirrors something you have always known, that presence alone can be enough, that you do not need to fill every space with words or movement. Silence, when held carefully, becomes generous rather than empty. Your breathing remains slow and even. Each breath arrives fully and leaves completely. There is no effort in it now. The body knows what to do. It always has. The night deepens just a little more before beginning its subtle turn toward morning. Somewhere a bird stirs, not yet singing, only shifting on a branch. The sky lightens by a shade too faint to notice consciously. You remain asleep, undisturbed, held securely in rest. You dream of returning home after an evening engagement. The street is empty, lanterns dimmed. You slide the wooden door open and step inside. The familiar scent of the house surrounds you: wood, fabric, faint traces of incense. You close the door gently, sealing the quiet within. Inside the dream house, you remove your sandals and feel the cool tatami beneath your feet. You take a moment to stand still, acknowledging the transition from outside to inside, from public to private. This pause has always mattered to you. It allows the day to settle. You kneel, bow slightly to the empty room, and feel gratitude without directing it at anything specific. Gratitude for continuity, for steadiness, for a life that unfolds with intention rather than force. The dream fades gradually, like mist lifting from the ground. There is no sharp return to darkness, only a gentle thinning of images. Sensations blur and soften until there is only rest. Your body sinks a little deeper into the mattress. The blanket feels warmer now, more present. Your face remains relaxed, lips slightly parted, breath calm and unbroken. You are completely at ease. In this deep sleep, there is no need to define yourself. You are not performing, not preparing, not reflecting. You simply are, and that is enough. The hours continue to pass quietly. The world turns, slowly and faithfully. Lanterns will be lit again. Tea will be poured. Music will rise and fade. But all of that belongs to later. For now, you remain exactly where you should be, resting deeply, peacefully, carried by the same gentle rhythm that has shaped your life, drifting through the final, quiet stretch of night, held in stillness until morning chooses, softly, to arrive. The stillness remains unbroken, like a smooth surface of water, untouched by wind. You are resting so deeply now that even the idea of movement feels distant, unnecessary. Sleep holds you in a quiet embrace, neither tight nor loose, simply steady and reliable. Your awareness drifts without direction, and in this drifting, another gentle dream forms, not sharply, not vividly, but like a feeling that slowly gathers shape. You sense yourself seated in a familiar room, though the walls seem softer, less defined. Light exists here without a visible source, warm and even, like late afternoon stretched into eternity. In this space, there is no audience and no expectation. You are not preparing to greet anyone. You are not waiting. You are simply present. Your hands rest in your lap, relaxed, fingers slightly curled, no longer trained into position. This freedom feels natural, earned through years of careful attention. You think faintly of how often your life has taught you to notice endings, not dramatic endings, but small, daily ones. The end of a song as the final note fades. The end of a visit as footsteps disappear down the street. The end of a day as lanterns dim. You have learned that endings are gentle things when they are allowed to be. This dream space feels like an ending too, but also like a pause. A resting place between one breath and the next. There is no sadness here, only softness, only release. Somewhere far away, perhaps in memory, you hear the sound of fabric being folded. The quiet rhythm of cloth smoothed carefully, aligned edge to edge. This sound has always comforted you. It speaks of order without rigidity, of care without urgency. Your body responds by relaxing even further. If there were any tension left, it dissolves now. Your legs feel heavy and warm. Your arms sink comfortably. Your neck and jaw loosen completely. The muscles around your eyes soften, allowing darkness to deepen behind closed lids. The house around you, real or imagined, continues its quiet vigil. Wood expands and contracts slightly with the changing air. Beams hold their shape, having learned patience over decades. This house knows how to wait. It teaches you, even in sleep, that waiting does not have to feel empty. Your dream shifts again, almost imperceptibly. Now you are walking, but you do not feel your feet touching the ground. You move as if carried by intention alone. The street is empty, yet welcoming. Lanterns glow dimly, spaced far apart, leaving wide pools of shadow between them. In those shadows there is no fear, only coolness. Only rest. You move through them easily, trusting that the path continues even when you cannot see it clearly. This trust feels important, though you cannot say why. You realize, dimly, that this is how you have lived much of your life, moving forward with care, even when outcomes were not fully visible. Trusting tradition. Trusting practice. Trusting that attention would be enough. That understanding settles into you like warmth spreading slowly from the center of your chest. It is not pride. It is not relief. It is something quieter. Acceptance. The dream becomes simpler. Lanterns fade. Streets dissolve. There is only a sense of space, wide and calm. Your breath moves through this space gently, like a tide that no longer needs to reach anywhere. In the deep layers of sleep, thought loses its structure. Words dissolve into feeling. Feeling dissolves into rest. You are no longer observing anything. You are being supported by everything. Outside, though you do not know it, night has begun its final stretch. The sky shifts almost invisibly toward morning. Cool air settles closer to the ground. Somewhere a distant temple bell will eventually ring, but not yet. You remain untouched by time. Your life, as a geisha, as a person shaped by ritual and quiet discipline, has given you this gift, the ability to rest fully. To let go without fear of falling. To trust that the world will hold its shape while you sleep. And so you continue to drift, deeper and steadier, wrapped in silence, cushioned by calm, floating gently within yourself. Nothing pulls you back. Nothing pushes you forward. There is only this soft, unbroken rest continuing on, breath after breath, moment after moment, until sleep itself becomes seamless and complete. And you remain there peacefully, without effort, without need, without end. The quiet continues, wide and unhurried, like a sky with no edges. There is no clear boundary now between dreaming and deep sleep. You are moving through rest the way one moves through familiar rooms in the dark without needing to see. Without hesitation, your awareness is soft, like a lamp turned low. It does not seek images, yet images still arrive gently, one after another, never staying long. They appear, dissolve, and leave behind only calm. You sense morning again, but still at a great distance. It is only a faint idea, like remembering that a river eventually reaches the sea without knowing when. For now, night remains your companion, steady and kind. In this deep sleep, your dreams no longer tell stories. Instead, they offer sensations, weightlessness, warmth, steadiness. You feel as though you are resting not just on a bed, but within a rhythm that has always existed. A rhythm older than buildings, older than streets, older even than tradition itself. You are aware dimly of your breath. It moves slowly, evenly, like waves on a calm shore. There is no pause too long, no breath too shallow. Your body has found its own perfect pace, and it keeps it without effort. Somewhere in this rest, memory drifts through again, not as scenes, but as impressions. The texture of tatami beneath bare feet. The gentle resistance of silk as it slides into place. The warmth of a teacup held between both hands. These sensations have been repeated so many times that they no longer feel separate from you. They are woven into how you exist. You sense the seasons passing, not one by one, but together. Spring's softness, summer's heavy warmth, autumn's clear air, winter's stillness. They do not compete. They simply follow one another, endlessly patient. Your life has followed a similar rhythm, each phase giving way without struggle. In this deep sleep, you do not think of yourself as a role or a title. You are not defined by what you do or how you are seen. You are simply a presence, resting within itself. This feels natural, as if this is how you were always meant to be beneath everything else. The house around you feels distant now, yet still protective. It is no longer a physical space, but a sense of enclosure, of being held. Walls exist not to separate, but to shelter. The ceiling does not press down. It arches gently, like the inside of a quiet thought. Your dreams thin further. Images blur into light and shadow, then into sensation alone. You float in a dark warmth that feels neither heavy nor empty. It feels complete. Time loses its meaning here. There is no counting of minutes, no sense of passing hours. There is only continuation. Breath follows breath. Stillness follows stillness. If there is sound, It is distant and softened, perhaps the faint echo of a bell long ago, perhaps only the memory of one. It does not call you anywhere. It simply exists, then fades. Your body rests deeply. Muscles are fully released, no longer holding even the memory of effort. Joints feel loose and supported. Your spine lies comfortably aligned, as if gently guided into rest by years of careful posture, now rewarded with ease. Even your thoughts have grown tired. They no longer form sentences. They drift like petals on water, touching briefly, then moving apart. In this depth of sleep, there is a profound sense of safety. Nothing is expected of you. Nothing will interrupt. The world can wait. You are not preparing for tomorrow. You are not reviewing yesterday. You are nowhere but here, and here requires nothing. This is the quiet that lives beneath all rituals. The stillness beneath every bow, every note of music, every carefully poured cup of tea. It has always been there, supporting everything quietly, without recognition. You rest inside that stillness now. Far beyond your awareness, the sky begins its slow change. Darkness thins by a degree too small to notice. Cool air shifts. Somewhere, a bird adjusts its feathers. Somewhere else, a light flickers on briefly, then off again. None of this reaches you. You remain deeply asleep. Your dreams now are more like gentle currents than images. They carry you without direction, without resistance. There is no beginning and no end to them. They simply move endlessly calm. You are aware of being whole. Nothing aches. Nothing pulls. Nothing calls for attention. This wholeness is quiet, unremarkable, and deeply satisfying. The rhythm that has guided your life, the rhythm of care, of patience, of attentiveness continues here too. It does not stop when you sleep. It becomes softer, slower, more internal. And so you drift, deeper, steadier, resting within rest itself. The night continues its silent watch. Morning will come when it comes. Until then, you remain exactly as you are, peaceful, supported, untroubled, floating gently in a long, uninterrupted sleep that stretches on, smooth and calm, without effort, without interruption, without end. The calm does not break. It settles even more fully, like dust finally resting after a long, gentle fall. You are so deeply asleep now that even the idea of dreaming feels distant. There is only a soft awareness, barely there, like the warmth that remains after a candle has been extinguished. You exist in a space without edges. There is no up or down, no before or after. You are simply held. Held by quiet, by stillness, by a rhythm that has nothing to prove and nowhere to go. If a thought appears, it does so gently, without words. It is more like a feeling passing through familiar, neutral, calm, and then it dissolves. Nothing lingers long enough to form a question. Nothing needs answering. Your breathing continues, slow and natural. Each breath feels complete on its own, not part of a sequence, not leading anywhere. The body breathes because it knows how, because it always has. There is comfort in that reliability. Somewhere deep inside this rest, there is a sense of continuity. Not memory, not anticipation, just knowing that life flows on steadily, whether you are awake or asleep. Lanterns will glow again, tea will steam, music will rise and fade. All of it will happen without needing you to hold it together right now. That knowledge allows you to sink further. Your body feels warm and heavy in the most pleasant way, as though gently pressed into softness from all sides. There is no tension left to release. Even the smallest muscles, the ones that usually stay alert, have let go completely. You are not listening anymore, yet silence remains. You are not watching, yet darkness is gentle rather than deep. You are not thinking, yet there is a sense of peace that feels quietly complete. If there are dreams now, they are so faint they feel more like atmosphere than imagery. A suggestion of fabric moving. A hint of warm light. The idea of a familiar room. None of it sharpens into form. It all stays comfortably blurred. This is rest without effort. This is sleep without edges. The night continues to pass, unnoticed and unmeasured. Outside, the sky shifts, but you do not feel it. Inside, your body remains steady, supported by years of learning how to be still, how to soften, how to trust the moment you are in. There is nothing you need to remember. Nothing you need to prepare for. Nothing you need to become. You are already enough, resting exactly where you should be. And so you remain quiet, peaceful, undisturbed, floating gently in deep, restorative sleep, carried by stillness itself, as the hours move past without asking anything of you, without touching you at all. The rest continues smooth and uninterrupted, like a long breath that never quite ends. You remain settled in that deep, quiet place where nothing asks for attention and nothing feels unfinished. Sleep is no longer something you are doing, it is simply the state you are in. There is a gentle sense of warmth throughout your body now, evenly spread, comforting, and steady. It feels as though the world has drawn a soft blanket over everything, muffling sharp edges, smoothing rough thoughts, quieting even the quiet. If awareness stirs at all, it does so like a ripple far out on a lake, barely noticeable, fading almost as soon as it appears. There is no pull back toward waking. No need to check the time. No curiosity about what comes next. Your breath remains slow and balanced. Air moves in and out without sound, without effort. Each inhale feels like a continuation, not a beginning. Each exhale feels like a settling, not an ending. Deep within this sleep, your body remembers how to heal, how to restore, how to return to itself. Muscles soften further. The mind smooths itself out, like sand rearranged gently by water. Everything finds its natural place. The quiet here is kind. It does not press in. It does not demand stillness. It simply exists, open and supportive, allowing you to rest exactly as deeply as you need. Images no longer form. Memories do not assemble. There is only a faint sense of being carried by rhythm, by habit, by something older and steadier than thought. It feels similar to being rocked very slowly, almost imperceptibly, by time itself. Outside this sleep, night continues to move toward morning, but the transition is so slow it may as well be still. The sky lightens by fractions. Cool air shifts. Somewhere, something prepares to wake. None of this reaches you. Inside, you remain untouched. Your life shaped by attentiveness, by patience, by the gentle repetition of care has led naturally to this kind of rest. Not collapse, not escape, but true settling. The kind of rest that does not need recovery afterward because it restores as it continues. You do not dream of doing. You do not dream of becoming. You simply remain. If there is a feeling here, it is one of quiet completeness. Nothing missing, nothing extra, just enough. Sleep deepens again, though it is hard to say how because depth has lost its meaning. There are no layers left to descend through. There is only this calm continuity, stretching softly in all directions. You are safe. You are still. You are resting. And so the night holds you a while longer, gently, patiently, allowing you to remain exactly where you are floating in unbroken calm, drifting nowhere, needing nothing, while time moves past like a distant river whose sound you no longer hear. The calm remains vast and unbroken, like a quiet ocean at night where even the waves have learned to rest. You drift within this stillness without effort, without direction, without awareness of distance or time. Sleep is no longer something that comes and goes, it has become the space you are gently floating in. Your body lies completely at ease. Every part of you feels supported, as though the surface beneath you understands exactly how to hold your weight. There is no pressure, no imbalance. Even gravity feels softened here, cooperative rather than firm. Breathing continues in its own slow rhythm. Each breath feels round and full, not shallow, not deep, simply right. The air moves in and out quietly, like the tide touching the shore and retreating again. There is comfort in this repetition, a reminder that life continues smoothly, even when you are not guiding it. In this depth of sleep, there is no storyline, no inner voice narrating anything. Instead, there is a gentle sense of presence, like being wrapped in a familiar silence that knows you well. It is the same silence you have known in empty rooms after lanterns are extinguished, when the day has fully released its hold. You sense the shape of your life only faintly now, not as memories, not as plans, but as a steady background warmth. Years of careful movement, quiet discipline, and gentle attention have shaped you into someone who knows how to be still without discomfort. That knowledge lives in your body, and it supports you now. Somewhere in the soft layers of sleep, there is a subtle feeling of drifting through familiar spaces. You are not walking or standing, you are simply aware of places that feel known. A long hallway lit by morning light. A tea house empty before guests arrive. A small garden just after rain. These places do not demand interaction. They exist peacefully and you pass through them like a breath passing through air. Nothing here needs to be perfect. Nothing needs adjusting. Everything rests exactly as it should. The night continues to move forward outside, but its movement is gentle and respectful, as if it knows not to disturb you. Stars fade slowly. The sky lightens so gradually that darkness does not feel replaced, only softened. Inside this rest, your mind feels smooth and open. There are no sharp edges to catch on. If a thought appears, it feels distant and unfinished, dissolving before it can take shape. There is no urgency to understand anything. Understanding is not required here. You feel a sense of continuity, like being part of a long, calm line of moments stretching backward and forward. Past and future no longer feel separate. They are simply variations of the same steady flow. You are resting within that flow now, held gently in its center. Your muscles remain fully relaxed. The places that usually hold quiet tension, the shoulders, the jaw, the hands are completely soft. There is no effort in maintaining this stillness. It sustains itself. If there is sensation, it is minimal and comforting. The warmth of the blanket, the gentle support beneath you. The quiet hum of being alive, nothing more is needed. The silence here feels rich, not empty. It carries weight without heaviness. It feels like a pause that exists for its own sake, not to prepare for what comes next. You remain deeply asleep. The hours pass without marking themselves. You do not sense them leaving or arriving. Sleep stretches on, smooth and continuous, like a single extended moment that does not break. Somewhere, a distant sound might occur, a soft shift of air, a faraway movement, but it never reaches you clearly enough to matter. It fades before it can register, absorbed into the calm. Your body continues its quiet work, restoring and renewing without asking for attention. Each breath supports the next. Each heartbeat moves steadily, unremarkable and reliable. Everything functions in harmony, without instruction. There is a gentle feeling of being held not by hands, not by walls, but by rhythm. The same rhythm that has guided your days now carries you through the night. It does not rush you toward waking. It does not pull you deeper. It simply continues. If dreams pass through now, they do so like shadows moving behind a curtain, present but indistinct. They do not form scenes or emotions. They are only motion, soft and passing. You feel safe here, completely safe. There is no need to stay alert, no need to listen for anything, no need to respond. Rest deepens again, though it is impossible to tell how because depth has lost its meaning. There is only steadiness. The night continues its quiet vigil, respectful and patient. Morning will arrive when it is ready, and until then, you remain undisturbed. You float in this calm, breath after breath, moment after moment, wrapped in stillness, carried by silence, resting deeply and peacefully without effort, without interruption, remaining exactly where you are, in a long, gentle sleep that unfolds softly and endlessly. The stillness carries on, smooth and uninterrupted, like a calm surface that never ripples. You remain deeply at rest, settled so completely that even the sense of settling has faded. Sleep has become effortless, natural, unquestioned. Your body feels warm and evenly relaxed, as though it has found its perfect position and no longer needs to adjust. There is no urge to move, no signal asking for attention. Everything is quiet cooperation, muscles resting, breath flowing, heart beating steadily and calmly. The air around you feels gentle, almost padded. Sounds from the world beyond are softened into nothing before they can reach you. Even silence feels quieter now, as if it has deepened into something softer, kinder. If awareness stirs, it does so only as a faint glow, not as thought. There are no images, no memories forming, only a peaceful sense of being supported. You are not holding yourself together. Something else, something steady and patient does that for you now. Your breathing remains slow and easy. Each inhale arrives smoothly. Each exhale releases fully. There is no pause that feels too long, no breath that feels incomplete. Everything follows a natural rhythm that requires no guidance. Time continues to pass, but it does not announce itself. There is no sense of minutes slipping away or hours accumulating. The night stretches comfortably, unmeasured and unhurried. You are resting in a space where nothing needs improvement, nothing asks to be changed, nothing feels unresolved. This completeness is quiet, almost invisible, yet deeply comforting. Your mind is still, not because it is forced to be, but because it has nothing left to do. Thoughts have gently set themselves down and drifted away. What remains is a calm openness, spacious and unoccupied. The warmth of rest spreads evenly, like a gentle glow beneath the surface of everything. It feels restorative, nourishing, steady. Your body accepts it easily, without resistance. Outside, the world continues its slow turning. Darkness thins. Light prepares itself patiently. Somewhere far away, morning is taking shape. None of this reaches you yet. You remain held in sleep, floating gently within it. If there is a feeling now, it is one of quiet trust. Trust that you are safe. Trust that nothing will be missed. Trust that everything will resume when it is time, without effort from you. The night remains kind and unbroken. And so you continue to rest deeply, peacefully, completely carried by silence, supported by stillness, breathing slowly and evenly, allowing sleep to stretch on as long as it wishes, smooth and undisturbed, until the world is ready to welcome you back. The calm stretches on, unbroken and generous, like a wide plain under a quiet sky. You remain deep within sleep, so settled that even the idea of waking feels far away, abstract, unnecessary. Rest is no longer something happening to you, it is the state you gently exist within. Your body feels perfectly balanced now. Not heavy, not light, but comfortably present. Every place where you touch the surface beneath you feels supported, as if the ground itself understands how to hold you without effort. There is no pressure, no strain, no need to shift or adjust. Breathing continues in a slow, natural rhythm. Each breath arrives smoothly and leaves just as easily, like a tide that knows the shore well. There is a subtle warmth with every inhale, a soft release with every exhale. Nothing interrupts this flow. Nothing needs to. In this deep rest, awareness is diffuse, spread evenly rather than focused. You are not observing anything in particular. You are simply aware that you are resting, and even that awareness is faint, like a distant echo. The quiet around you feels layered. Not empty, but full of softness. It is the kind of quiet that absorbs rather than reflects, that cushions rather than presses. Sounds from outside never fully arrive here. They dissolve long before reaching you. Your mind feels smooth and open, like still water untouched by wind. Thoughts no longer form shapes. They do not connect into lines or patterns. If something stirs, it fades immediately, leaving behind only calm. There is a gentle sense of continuity beneath everything, a steady knowing that life flows on without interruption. You do not need to guide it. You do not need to manage it. Everything knows where it is going. This understanding settles deeply into you, easing even the most subtle forms of effort. You are not holding yourself alert anymore. You are not waiting. You are not preparing. You are resting fully, completely. Time continues to pass, but without markers. There is no before or after here, only this sustained moment of rest. Night does not feel like something that will end. It feels like a safe container, holding you gently while the world moves quietly beyond it. Your body continues its quiet work, restoring, balancing, renewing without drawing attention to itself. Muscles remain relaxed, joints are loose and supported. The rhythm of your heart is calm and even, steady and unremarkable in the best way. There is a faint sense of warmth spreading slowly, like comfort settling deeper rather than wider. It is not excitement or emotion, just the simple physical reassurance of rest doing its work. If there are dreams now, they are extremely subtle, not images, not stories, just impressions. A sense of familiar spaces, the feeling of soft light, the memory of stillness. They drift through gently, never demanding focus, never lingering. Outside this sleep, the night continues its patient transition. The sky lightens by degrees too small to notice. Cool air shifts. Somewhere far away, something prepares to wake. None of it reaches you. You remain undisturbed. There is a sense of safety that runs quietly beneath everything. A deep trust that nothing will intrude, nothing will be missed, nothing will be required of you until you are ready. This trust allows rest to deepen even further. Your breathing remains steady. Your body remains still. Your mind remains calm. The silence here feels supportive, almost protective. It wraps around you gently, like layers of soft fabric, shielding you from sharpness, from urgency, from interruption. You are not separate from this calm. You are part of it. Sleep continues, smooth and continuous, without edges or breaks. You float within it effortlessly, carried by rhythm rather than thought, by stillness rather than intention. The night holds you kindly for a while longer, allowing rest to unfold fully, completely, without haste. And you remain there peaceful, settled, deeply asleep, breathing slowly, resting fully, letting the long, quiet stretch of night carry you onward, undisturbed and at ease until morning arrives gently, in its own time. The stillness remains steady and uninterrupted, like a long exhale that never quite finishes. You are resting so deeply now that even the sense of rest has softened into something quieter. Sleep is no longer an experience you notice. It is simply the space you are gently held within. Your body feels completely at ease, settled in a way that feels final for the night. There is no searching for comfort anymore. Comfort has already been found and accepted. Every part of you is supported exactly where it is, without pressure, without imbalance. Breath continues its calm rhythm, smooth and silent. Each inhale feels like a quiet continuation, each exhale like a gentle settling deeper into stillness. There is no effort in breathing now. The body remembers how to do this perfectly on its own. Your mind is quiet, not empty, but spacious. There are no thoughts forming, no images assembling. If anything passes through awareness at all, it is only a faint sense of warmth, of safety, of being allowed to remain exactly as you are. Time feels distant and irrelevant. There is no counting, no movement from one moment to the next. The night stretches comfortably, without beginning or end. It does not feel long. It does not feel short, it simply is. Outside, the world continues its gentle turning, but it does so respectfully, without touching you. The sky lightens slowly, air shifts. Somewhere far away, morning prepares itself. None of this enters your sleep. Inside, everything remains calm. Your body continues its quiet work of restoration. Muscles stay soft. The rhythm of your heart remains even and reassuring. Every system moves in harmony, without urgency, without strain. There is a deep sense of trust and outrust that you are safe, that nothing needs your attention, that everything will still be there when you wake. This trust allows you to sink even further into rest, though further no longer feels like a direction. It feels like continuity. Silence surrounds you, not as absence, but as presence. It feels full, gentle, and supportive, like a soft darkness that carries no fear. You are completely at home within it. Sleep continues, smooth and unbroken. No dreams pull you upward. No sounds pull you outward. You remain exactly where you are, breathing slowly, resting deeply, undisturbed. The night holds you a while longer, allowing rest to finish its quiet work. And you remain peaceful and still, floating gently within this calm. Until the moment comes much later, without hurry, when the world will softly invite you back. The calm continues to unfold, wide and generous, like a soft horizon that never quite reaches an edge. You remain suspended in deep rest, not drifting anywhere, not sinking further, simply being held in a steady, quiet state that feels completely natural. Your body is so relaxed now that it feels almost distant, as if it belongs to the stillness itself. There is no tension left to dissolve. No awareness of weight or position. Just a gentle sense of warmth and support, evenly spread, reassuring and constant. Breathing flows on without sound. Each breath arrives smoothly and leaves just as gently, like a familiar rhythm that no longer needs attention. There is comfort in knowing that this rhythm continues whether you notice it or not. It carries you effortlessly through the night. Your mind is quiet in a way that feels complete. Not forced, not empty, simply settled. Thoughts have loosened their shape entirely. There are no questions forming, no memories assembling, no plans waiting. The mind rests the way a lake rests when the wind has gone clear, undisturbed, reflective, without reflecting anything in particular. Silence surrounds you, but it does not feel vast or lonely. It feels close, kind, protective, like thick fabric draped softly around everything, absorbing sharpness, smoothing edges, holding warmth. Time moves, but it does not pass. There is no sense of minutes slipping away or hours collecting. Night feels like a single continuous moment, calm, uninterrupted, whole. If any dreams pass through now, they do so without images or stories. They are only sensations, soft light without a source, space without boundaries, movement without direction. They do not ask to be followed. They simply pass, leaving calm behind them. Your body continues its quiet work, restoring and renewing without effort. Muscles remain loose and supported. Joints are comfortable. The steady rhythm of your heart continues, dependable and unremarkable, doing exactly what it needs to do. There is a deep sense of safety here. Nothing can intrude. Nothing is expected of you. You are not needed anywhere else right now. This moment belongs entirely to rest. Outside, the night slowly eases toward morning. Darkness thins almost imperceptibly. Cool air shifts. Somewhere far away, the world prepares itself to wake. None of this reaches you yet. Inside, everything remains still. The calm deepens not by moving downward, but by spreading evenly through everything. It fills every quiet space, every pause between breaths, every place where effort once lived. Nothing is left uncovered. You feel gently anchored, not by weight, but by steadiness. As if the ground beneath you, the air around you, and the quiet within you have all agreed to remain exactly as they are for a while longer. Sleep continues without interruption. No sounds pull you upward. No sensations call for attention. You remain undisturbed, floating within rest itself. The night holds you patiently, allowing this long, gentle pause to continue. And you remain there peaceful, settled, deeply asleep, breathing slowly, resting fully, letting the calm stretch on, smooth and unbroken, until morning arrives softly, without haste, when it is ready. And now the night completes its gentle circle. Without sound or signal, rest has done all it needed to do. Your body is restored, your mind smoothed and quieted, your breath steady and calm. Nothing was rushed, nothing was forced. Sleep unfolded exactly as it should have. Somewhere beyond your awareness, the sky has softened toward morning. Light has begun its slow return, respectful and patient. The world is preparing itself again, carefully, the way it always does. You remain peaceful as this change approaches. There is no sudden waking, no sharp transition. Just a gradual lightening inside and out. Breath remains easy. Muscles stay relaxed. Calm lingers, unbroken. When the moment comes to open your eyes, it will feel natural. Gentle, unhurried. You will carry this stillness with you, like a quiet echo of the night, woven into every movement of the day ahead. For now, everything is complete. The long rest has ended softly, the way it began, without effort, without interruption, without disturbance. And with that calm carried forward, the story rests. Sleep well.